Imagine a single human hair, like really sliced into 10,000 pieces.
Wow.
That's how thin
Yeah,
some of the layers are in the chips that like power everything around us,
it's pretty amazing.
from our smartphones to, self-driving cars and
Right.
uh, the machines that build these microscopic marvels. That's where Lam Research comes in.
It's incredible how a company most people haven't even heard of plays such a pivotal role in our technological world.
Exactly, and that's what we're diving into today. Before we get started, if you're enjoying these deep dives, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes.
Yeah.
We've got a stack of reports and articles all about Lam Research.
Okay.
Ticker symbol LRCX for those following along.
All right.
And we're going to unpack the most important bits for you:
Sounds good.
their business model, how they manage their financial health, and even a peek into the future to see what's on the horizon.
It's quite a journey from these incredibly precise machines to the global impact they have.
Okay, let's unpack this. First, we need to understand what Lam Research actually does.
Okay.
They build the machines that make chips.
Right?
But it's not as simple as just assembling parts, right?
Right. It's far more intricate. They specialize in wafer fabrication equipment, particularly for deposition and etch processes. Imagine building a skyscraper layer by atomic layer
Wow.
with materials like tungsten or aluminum. Deposition is like laying down those layers with incredible precision, and etch is selectively removing material to create the intricate patterns of a circuit.
So they're essentially the architects and construction crews of the chip world,
Yes.
but at an atomic scale.
That's a great analogy. And this intricate work is at the core of what Lam Research does. Now, you mentioned their business model. They have two main revenue streams. The first, as we've discussed, is building and selling these cutting-edge machines. The second is providing ongoing customer support.
Mhm.
These machines are highly complex and incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
We're talking millions of dollars.
Oh, wow.
So ensuring they operate flawlessly is essential.
It makes sense. You don't want a tiny glitch to halt production of something so vital.
Exactly.
And I read that Lam Research is particularly involved in the memory chip market. What's their role there?
It's significant. They're a major player in the NAND flash memory market, holding a sizable market share. That means every time you store a photo on your phone, download a movie, or even boot up your computer, Lam Research's technology is likely playing a part behind the scenes. Their innovations in deposition and etch processes are directly tied to advancements in memory capacity and performance.
Wow, that really puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
It's not just about abstract technology.
Right.
It's impacting how we live and interact with the digital world every single day.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another important aspect.
Okay.
The people at the helm of Lam Research. How is this company being steered through such a complex and rapidly changing industry?
That's a great point. Strong leadership can make all the difference. What can you tell us about the management team, specifically the CEO?
Lam Research is led by Tim Archer, who's been with the company for over 2 decades. He took the reins as CEO in 2018 and has been navigating the company through some significant shifts in the industry, from trade tensions to the global chip shortage. He's known for his long-term vision and deep understanding of the semiconductor landscape.
2 decades is a long time in any field,
Yeah.
let alone one as dynamic as tech. What's his leadership style like?
From what we gather, he's very data-driven and analytical, which is reflected in Lam Research's consistent financial performance. He's also been praised for his focus on fostering a culture of innovation within the company. He believes in empowering engineers and scientists to push the boundaries of what's possible in semiconductor manufacturing.
That's interesting. It sounds like he's not just focused on the bottom line, but also on creating an environment where people can thrive and push the limits of technology.
Right.
But sticking to the bottom line, let's talk about the company's financial health. Are they as solid as their technology seems to be?
The numbers tell a compelling story. Lam Research boasts impressive gross margins, consistently over 40%. They also generate significant free cash flow,
Wow.
which gives them the flexibility to invest heavily in research and development. Their commitment to R&D is almost double what it was in 2019, demonstrating their dedication to staying at the forefront of the industry.
Those margins are really impressive, especially in a field known for its high capital expenditures.
Yeah.
It seems like they're striking a good balance between current profitability and investing in future growth. What else should we know about their financial performance?
One thing that stands out is their consistent track record of beating earnings expectations. Even when the semiconductor industry faces cyclical downturns, Lam Research has often surprised investors with stronger than expected results. This resilience speaks to the strength of their business model and their ability to navigate market volatility.
That's definitely a positive sign for potential investors. It suggests a management team that understands the market dynamics and can consistently deliver results even in challenging conditions. Before we dive into what the rest of the market thinks about Lam Research, let's take a quick pause.
That's a good idea. It's important to make sure everyone has all the information they need to follow along.
Exactly. For those of you who want to dig deeper, we've linked all the sources for this deep dive in the description below. And while you're down there, let us know what other stocks you'd like us to unpack in future episodes. We love hearing your suggestions.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the market's perception of Lam Research.
Yeah, what's the buzz?
Is it the, darling of Wall Street, or are there whispers of doubt?
Yeah.
So overall, I would say market sentiment is cautiously optimistic. Investors recognize Lam Research's, strong market position, their technological leadership, and those healthy financials that we just talked about.
But you said cautiously optimistic. What's giving investors pause?
Well, there are a few factors. One is the inherent cyclicality of the semiconductor industry. So, demand for chips can ebb and flow based on, global economic conditions, technological advancements, even geopolitical events.
It's like trying to predict the weather.
Right.
There will be ups and downs.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say exactly when and how intense they'll be.
Exactly. And adding to that complexity are the geopolitical risks, particularly concerning trade tensions and potential supply chain disruptions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The semiconductor industry is global, with manufacturing and sourcing happening across different continents. So any political or economic tremors can send ripples through the entire ecosystem.
A company like Lam Research, even with its strong fundamentals, can be affected by forces beyond its control.
Absolutely.
So what about the analysts? What are they saying about Lam Research's future?
Well, the majority of analysts covering Lam Research have a buy or outperform rating on the stock.
Okay.
They see significant growth potential driven by the continued demand for advanced chips in everything from data centers to electric vehicles.
Makes sense.
However, some analysts recommend a more cautious hold rating.
Okay.
Citing those cyclical and geopolitical concerns that we just discussed.
So the consensus seems to be positive.
Yeah.
But with a dose of realism about the challenges ahead. It's like a green light with a flashing yellow warning sign.
I like that.
What else can we glean from market sentiment? I remember you mentioned something about short interest earlier.
Yeah.
What does that tell us?
So short interest is essentially a measure of how many investors are betting against a stock, expecting its price to decline. In Lam Research's case, short interest has been increasing recently.
Interesting.
This could indicate growing skepticism about the company's near-term prospects, perhaps due to concerns about a potential slowdown in the semiconductor industry.
So some investors are seeing storm clouds on the horizon.
Yeah.
While others remain optimistic about the long-term forecast.
Right.
It's a reminder that investing always involves an element of risk assessment and weighing different perspectives.
Absolutely.
But before we dive into those risks and opportunities, I'm curious about who holds the keys to the kingdom, so to speak.
Okay.
Who are the major players in Lam Research's ownership structure?
Well, it's an interesting mix.
Okay.
As we mentioned before, institutional investors hold a significant portion of Lam Research's shares, around 85%.
Wow.
These are large investment firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street Global Advisors.
Okay.
Their substantial holdings indicate long-term confidence in the company's growth potential.
That's a significant vote of confidence from some of the biggest players in the financial world.
Right.
What about insider ownership? Are the people running the company also investing heavily in its stock?
That's where things get a little more nuanced.
Okay.
Insider ownership in Lam Research is relatively low.
Interesting.
Which can be interpreted in a few ways. It could signal that those closest to the company's operations aren't as bullish on its prospects as the market might think. On the other hand, it could simply reflect a diverse ownership structure where insiders hold a smaller proportion of shares compared to institutional investors.
It's like trying to read tea leaves.
Right.
There could be multiple interpretations.
Exactly.
What other insights can we gain from their ownership structure?
One notable observation is the relatively low involvement of hedge funds.
Okay.
Unlike some companies that attract significant hedge fund investment,
Right.
Lam Research has a more balanced ownership profile,
Got it.
with a mix of long-term institutional investors, individual shareholders, and a smaller presence of hedge funds known for their shorter-term trading strategies.
That diversification can be seen as a positive.
Yeah.
It suggests a stable ownership base with less susceptibility to sudden shifts in sentiment that can sometimes be driven by hedge fund activity.
Right.
But as with any investment, there are risks and opportunities to consider.
Right.
Let's shift our focus to Lam Research's SWOT analysis, which I think will help us understand the bigger picture.
Absolutely. A SWOT analysis
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
is a valuable tool for assessing a company's competitive position and potential for growth.
Right.
And in Lam Research's case, it reveals some intriguing insights.
Let's start with their strengths. What are the key factors that give Lam Research an edge in the market?
First and foremost, their technological leadership is undeniable. They're at the forefront of innovation in wafer fabrication equipment,
Right.
particularly in deposition and etch processes. Their expertise in these areas is crucial for enabling the continued miniaturization and performance improvements of chips.
We talked earlier about those incredibly thin layers.
Right.
Thinner than a human hair, split 10,000 times. That level of precision is remarkable. What other strengths contribute to their success?
Well, their strong financial performance, which we've already touched upon, is another major asset.
Yeah.
Their healthy profit margins, consistent free cash flow generation, and track record of exceeding earnings expectations provide a solid foundation for growth.
It's like having a well-maintained engine that can power them through both smooth sailing and turbulent waters.
Good analogy.
But even the most well-equipped ship can encounter storms.
True.
What are some of Lam Research's weaknesses that could pose challenges?
One significant vulnerability is their dependence on the memory chip market, particularly NAND flash memory. While this has been a strong growth driver, any downturn in that specific market segment could significantly impact their revenue and profitability.
It's like having all your eggs in one basket,
Right.
even if it's a very valuable basket.
Yeah.
Are there other weaknesses we should be aware of?
Another potential concern is their exposure to geopolitical risks,
Right?
particularly trade tensions and supply chain disruptions, as we discussed earlier. The semiconductor industry is highly globalized, and any disruptions to the flow of materials, components, or finished products could have a ripple effect on Lam Research's operations.
It's a reminder that even a company with a strong internal foundation
Yeah,
can be vulnerable to external forces.
absolutely.
But despite these challenges, there are also exciting opportunities for growth and expansion.
Right.
What does Lam Research's SWOT analysis reveal on that front?
One significant opportunity lies in expanding their market share in other segments of the semiconductor industry.
Okay.
While they are currently a dominant player in the memory chip market, they have the potential to leverage their technological expertise and strong customer relationships to gain a greater foothold in logic chips, microprocessors, and other areas.
So they could use their success in one area as a springboard
Right.
to diversify and expand into new territories. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What other opportunities are on the horizon for Lam Research?
Emerging markets represent another promising avenue for growth.
Okay.
As countries around the world continue to develop their technological infrastructure, the demand for advanced semiconductors will only increase.
Right.
Lam Research is well positioned to capitalize on this trend by establishing a strong presence in these burgeoning markets.
It's like being a gold prospector during a gold rush.
It's exactly.
They have the tools and expertise to strike it rich in these new territories.
Right.
Are there any other opportunities that stand out?
The rise of artificial intelligence, or AI, and the Internet of Things, or IoT, presents a significant growth opportunity for the entire semiconductor industry.
Makes sense.
And Lam Research is no exception.
Yeah.
These technological advancements require increasingly sophisticated and powerful chips.
Right.
And Lam Research's innovations in wafer fabrication equipment will be crucial in meeting this demand.
It's fascinating how a company like Lam Research, operating in a highly specialized field, is so intrinsically linked to the broader trends shaping our technological landscape. We're not just building machines, they're enabling the future.
Absolutely.
But as we wrap up our deep dive into Lam Research, we need to acknowledge that no investment is without risks.
Right.
What are the key threats that could potentially derail their success?
One of the most significant threats is the intense competition within the semiconductor equipment industry.
Right. Companies like Applied Materials and Tokyo Electron are formidable rivals,
Yeah.
constantly vying for market share and pushing the boundaries of technological innovation.
That's a tough business.
It is.
So Lam Research must remain agile and continue to invest heavily in R&D to maintain its competitive edge.
Absolutely. It's like a high-stakes race where everyone is pushing their limits to stay ahead.
What other threats should investors keep in mind?
The ever-present risk of technological disruption is another factor to consider.
Okay.
While Lam Research is currently a leader in its field,
Right.
the semiconductor industry is known for its rapid pace of innovation.
Yeah.
New technologies or manufacturing processes could emerge that challenge their existing dominance
Right.
and require significant adaptation to stay competitive.
It's a reminder that even the most successful companies can't afford to rest on their laurels. They need to constantly evolve and anticipate future trends to remain relevant.
Absolutely.
So it's incredible how much we rely on these tiny chips, like for almost everything we do.
Yeah. And Lam Research, quietly working behind the scenes,
Right.
is a critical part of making it all happen.
Absolutely. A testament to the interconnectedness of the tech world innovations in one area. Ripple out and impact countless others.
Exactly. So after this deep dive, what's the verdict?
Yeah.
Is Lam Research a company worth considering for an investor's portfolio?
Well, we've uncovered a lot of information, from their impressive technology to their financials to the market sentiment and potential risks.
Right.
But as always, we're not offering financial advice.
Of course.
Every investor needs to do their own research and make decisions that align with their individual goals and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. We're here to provide insights and information,
Right.
not to tell anyone what to do with their money.
Exactly.
But I will say, based on what we've learned, Lam Research seems like a company worth at least adding to your watch list.
I agree. They're a fascinating case study of a company operating in a complex and rapidly evolving industry. They have a lot of strengths, including their technological leadership, solid financials, and growth opportunities. But they also face challenges like we talked about.
Right.
Competition, geopolitical risks, and the potential for technological disruption.
It's a balancing act. Just like any investment, weighing the potential rewards against the inherent risks. But that's what makes the investing world so dynamic and intriguing.
Exactly. It's a constant process of learning, evaluating, and making informed decisions. And with the estimated intrinsic value of their stock somewhere between $38.82 and $540.44 per share,
Wow.
there's certainly a lot to consider.
Well, I think we've given our listeners plenty to chew on today.
Yeah, I hope so.
A big thank you to you, our expert, for breaking down this complex topic with such clarity and insight.
It was my pleasure. I always enjoy exploring the companies and technologies that are shaping our world.
And to all of our listeners, we hope you found this deep dive informative and engaging. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes. We've got many more companies and industries we're eager to explore.
And don't forget to leave a comment below letting us know what you thought of this episode and what other stocks you'd like us to deep dive into next. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep investing wisely.